There are calls for young people in Nigeria to become involved in politics, setting the country on course for fresh leadership. The governor of Kogi State made the comments while urging Nigerians to stay united. Arise correspondent Nisi Gabriel reports.
The ruling All Progressive Congress has extended its membership exercise until the end of March. Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State is urging young people to take part. He says it's time for the older generation to give way.
Whether you're a politician or not, this is the time to participate. This is the time to encourage others to participate so that we can have the kind of leadership we want. I pray that good reasons will prevail on our seniors to know that the time is up. Special grace of God, I can assure you that come 2023, our party under President Muhammadu Buhari leadership, by the special grace of God, will provide the next generation of leaders who will fix this country.
Bello has been meeting with ex-Super Eagles players who still bring Nigerians together and resonates with the youth. With the rising ethnic tension across the country, Bello says Nigeria should return to the days where unity could be found in sports.
I want Nigerians, not only the citizens of Kogi State, not only the footballers or the sportsmen and women, but Nigerians generally, that what happened far back in 1994, 1996, and up to a certain level, can replicate not only what happened in the Super Eagles, but what happened that brought that unity, that togetherness, that victory, that success, that development, that which provided that opportunity then is available now. It's available in the All Progressives Congress.
Nigerians might be urged to join party politics, but also live together in peace and unity to advance national development. Nisi Gabriel, Arise News.
Well, the approval of wearing of hijab in schools in Kwara State, which was given by the state government, has been rejected by the proprietors of mission schools in the state. The approval, which is issued last Thursday, allows Muslim female students to wear hijab in grant-aided schools. Reacting to the government's decision, the proprietor's president, Reverend Victor Dada, says the body condemns the use of hijab in Christian mission granted aided schools, as this will cause discrimination in schools and allow terrorists to easily identify their children and words.
Okay, well, for more on these, we have a Rise News analyst and associate professor of development communication at ABIODUN. Very warm welcome.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Another round of crises in the education sector, while we're still grappling with the kidnap of school children across the north. Should we be having this in Kwara State? You know, the kind of uniform or dresses to put on to school?
Well, I just hope this is another storm in a teacup, you know, that will not go anywhere. It's not the first time we've had it before.
We had it in Osun State.
Osun State, you know, so most of the time it's almost always full of sound and fury and signifying nothing. And it shouldn't be anything really, because whether you say hijab, veil, cassock, sutana, all these things, apparels, costumes, vestments usually used, you know, by people who subscribe to some religious leaning, and it shouldn't. It's just a definer, a kind of identifier to bind people of some faith, or for them to express certain things, whether modesty, whether to preserve their dignity, or to help them identify themselves, you know, in a manner that is consistent with their religious worldview. It shouldn't matter really if, you know, we've been able to manage our diversity very well. You know, because what the problem now is the motive that we're putting into it. That motive should not have arisen if our plurality had been in sync. I mean, if we've been able to manage it prior to this time, you know, such that there won't be suspicion, some kind of allegations of conspiracy.
Well, for this to be coming up now, it actually raises a lot of concern because, of course, if you look at our constitution, the fact that we are a secular country, we're not a Muslim or a Christian nation, we are in the middle in all of this. But I want to go beyond all of this talk about religion and who should wear a hijab or not. I know that the state governments, they do have the power to decide what happens in certain schools, but that they have a limit to their powers. But I want to talk about the youths, especially looking ahead to 2023. Yeah. We have seen, especially after the NSAS protest, the fact that the youths have actually woken up, if you want to use that word. They want to call themselves the Sorosoke generation, from the fact that we've seen a political party being registered, and the fact that we do know that the Not So Young to Run bill has been passed. That means the Nigerian youth is ready. Well, from everything that you have seen, do you think that the Nigerian youth is actually working in the right direction to ensure that the young people take over power in 2023?
Well, Yaya Bello still sees himself as a youth.
He is. Well, he's in his early 40s, so he's still a youth.
He's what?
He's still a youth.
He's early 40s.
I think the United Nations definition is from, is it 17 or 18 to 35? Yaya Bello is not,
anyway,
he's no longer
a young person.
Well, it's not just him anyway. But
yeah, he's a young person in relative terms.
Absolutely.
You know, But fundamentally, with the question of the conversation around youth has been increasing over the years, particularly with the youth budge and with the exemplary performances of youthful leaders in some countries like New Zealand, like France, like Austria, Canada, you know, and much else. So if it can happen in those places, there's no reason why we cannot also have it here. You know, but beyond the NSAS, beyond the new consciousness, is a need for them to come together through structures, through institutional provisions, a political party, and organize themselves very well in the way they organize the NSAS protest. You know, just protesting without a definite leadership through the prism of a political party would not be helpful. Like I remember statesman Atedo Peter said the other day, you know, so coming together in the form of a political party, either aligning or integrating into one of the major political parties and making their voice loud or making a very strong statement, you know, or forming their own party, you know, or, you know, joining one of those parties, you know, that seem to preach, you know, the youthful ideas, you know, could also be the route to take, you know. But again, we do not have to have them within a nebulous, imprecise, indefinable context. It has to be organized, you know, so that their voice, you know, will be much more definitive.
With your own background, having covered politics for more than 2 decades, you know, particularly at the advent of Nigeria's democracy, the Fourth Republic and the rest, which would you say is more advantageous for them? Is it not grouping, you know, together at their own, you know, level and the rest, than joining the old parties, which a lot of them see as failures to meeting their aspirations? Where would their interests be better served?
That's right. Good question, Christian. But we need to also understand that it's going to be difficult for them to operate in isolation, you know, considering the fact that beyond the age as a classifier, you also need some other kind of network, some other kind of integration, you know, to be able to register any kind of success. You know, Nigeria is a country, you know, where experience counts to a very large extent. And perhaps we should also quickly make the point that we shouldn't overemphasize this question of age, youth, old, in the definition of leadership, because we have seen instances where youths have failed us in this country.
But we are seeing it in the world. Globally, the youths are taking over. Absolutely. When you look at most of the European countries, they are in their 30s.
Well, if you look at the likes of the US, we have the
That's right. The youths are taking over and they are doing well. And we also have instances where the old are also taking over and are also not doing badly as well. You know, Joe Biden is 78. Our own president is about 77. Nancy Pelosi is 80. Mitch McConnell is a septuagenarian as well. You know, so these things really is about output. It's about substance, not necessarily form, not necessarily age. You know, it's a matter of context. But it's okay in our own climb to emphasize that because we have been ruled over the years by the old.
By the same people.
Yeah, to encourage the young ones to come up. But I'm saying that the young one will not come up on a platter of gold. There has to be a careful systematization,
deliberate effort,
deliberate effort, you know, worked over processes and
Absolutely.
procedures.
Well, you know what? In less than a minute, let's look at Yahaya Bello, because we're seeing a lot of intervention and a lot of, strategy towards 2023.
Yeah.
We're seeing him meet with all sorts of people that will probably help him, in galvanizing the vote of the youth in the elections in 2023. Do you think this man who became governor before he turned 40 really has done enough to really convince the youth in Nigeria that he deserves to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Well, first, Amaka, we need to know that becoming a Nigerian president is not necessarily based on your pedigree. There are so many factors coming to it. Sometimes it's not necessarily about merit. If it was by merit and understanding of issues, the last election should have been won by Kingsley Moghalu, for instance. But that's not the nature of Nigerian
So that's
politics.
the problem with our politics,
Yeah,
really.
so many things can define it, But he has come up. And of course, it is within his constitutional right. We're going to have many more people coming up as well. But do not forget what I said the other day, that ahead of every major election, there will be the possibles, the probable, and the delusional. But we'll begin to see them sift out. We'll begin to sift them out as we go close to the elections proper.
All right, Prof.
Good way to wrap up the conversation. But 2023 was really interesting.
He's
really,
beginning to bring up his, developmental communication skills.
Absolutely. But those will really help us. Those will really help us, especially as the youth are tilting towards taking over in 2023.
All right, thanks so very
It's
much,
going to be
Professor
interesting.
ABIODUN ADENIYI, a Rise News Analyst and Associate Professor of Development Communications at Bayes University.
My pleasure, Christian. Thanks for having me.